Okay, guys, how you guys doing? I wanted to do because it occurred to me uh just recently, like with most technology. And remember, I'm someone who likes using AI. I like using AI for a lot of reasons. And when you say that, people make a lot of assumptions, right? I'm a writer, been a writer for, going on 20 years now. I say 15 years, but I keep forgetting time has passed by. So I'm going on 20 years being a writer and using tools like Grammarly, which Grammarly came out in 2009. Grammarly implemented AI tools after AI came out, but Grammarly's been around for a while, as was Hemingway editor and things like Yoast and things like that. And one of the things I'm seeing that's kind of been dismaying me is that people will claim a writer is using AI without understanding what AI does to detect AI writing. And when they also seem to forget that AI is utilizing human patterns, which means that there are going to be a lot of Salem witch, Crucible, false accusations when it comes to people claiming people are using AI. This came to me, I wanted to write about this after seeing this article. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys a couple of things. All right. So this, I wanted to show you this, right? Actually, I don't know if that's the one I wanted to share. Let's go back. Stop share. I need to put this over here. And all right, so there's a couple of things I want to share. And one of them was an article on Medium about a guy who was talking about people who claim to be able to detect ChatGPT writing, right? And I also did my own experimentation. I want to show you how AI can wrongly say that something was written by AI or use AI detection. So let me pull this up first. Close that. Gotta close some things here. Sometimes I forget how this freaking share thing works. All right. All right. Let's go back. And then let's try to share again. So this screen share. All right. So this right here was called I'll instantly know a writer used ChatGPT when I see this. It's pretty damn obvious now that I know what to look for, right? By Matt Lillywhite. And what I thought was interesting, he starts it off, I've started noticing the same commenter joining the discussion in hundreds of articles since he uses a pseudonym and I don't know his actual name. I've started referring to him as AI Detective Dylan in my head. Every few days, I'll finish reading an article, scroll down the comments, and find Dylan explaining why that piece was obviously written by ChatGPT. Whenever I see one of Dylan's comments, the pattern's usually the same. He regularly breaks down articles sentence by sentence, pointing to phrases, transitions, and words choices he believes reveal AI involvement. Once you've seen enough AI writing, it becomes easy to spot, Dylan wrote. Anyone who disagrees with me is delusional. Now, what I love about it, I didn't read the whole article here, but I love this because I can tell it's obviously sarcasm, right? And what I love about that is, yeah, people run around. I had a guy who gave me crap for saying you used an M dash, so obviously this must be an AI written thing. And I'm thinking, so dude, I've been an SEO writer since the early 2000s, and one of the things that we regularly did in marketing was use an M dash, and so that does not mean that a person is using. It's just these people who don't know anything about grammar, about writing, about literature, running around making comments about stuff because AI again is using human influence writing to detect whether something is AI written. Now, it can be a good indicator, but it's not a given. And I think that before people start making accusations, they should, like, I'll give you a good example. I'm a very esoteric writer. I write, how to explain it? I use a lot of, like, I love words. And I've been flagged a couple of times as potentially AI because of the way that I write or the words that I use, because it looks for words that aren't in common use. And it'll say, oh, well, this isn't something used normally by humans, so this might be AI, right? Things like that. Like say, for example, let me stop sharing. I want to make sure this is going to be on the screen. So let's stop sharing. Let's go back to share. I wanted to point out a couple of things here. Share. Okay, so first we want to see when AI was first implemented, right? AI was first implemented. So as an everyday consumer technology, AI is used commonly November 30th, 2022, right? When my husband was working at machine learning and things like that, it was very, very early on. It was probably around 2021 when we started getting into that field. But November 30th, 2022 is when ChatGPT was launched. So let's keep this in mind. You can always rewind back to this to see the actual dates. These aren't things, this is something that can be researched and known. And what I'm talking about is common use, not when it was invented. Common use, like when people could go and write an article in ChatGPT, right? So yeah, so look at this. 2012 is when the breakthrough was made. 2020 was the release of ChatGPT and OpenAI. November 30th, 2022 is when it became commonly used. Keep these dates in mind. Now, let me stop share. I'm going to go in I'm going to close this one. I also wanted to point out when Grammarly was released. So let's go back here. Join a meeting. Share. All right. So Grammarly was created in 2009. And I was using Grammarly. And the reason why I had to use Grammarly, and again, this is pre-AI. There's also something called Hemingway Editor, and I used it too. And the reason why was, okay, now think about this. And Stephen King said this famously, that he would be nothing without his editor. He's not the best when it came to grammar, but he's extremely creative with beautiful, like, ways of envisioning stories, right? So writers and editors went together like freaking Reese's peanut butter, chocolate, and peanut butter, right? But at a certain point, companies started saying, well, we don't want, you got to edit your own stuff. And, that's like telling a kid to grade his own paper, in my opinion. And so if I wanted to stay in the game, I had to learn how to edit my own stuff. But I was regularly getting stuff come back, well, you missed this word. Well, yeah, because I'm getting no freaking editor, right? So Grammarly came out, it was a godsend. I signed up for that shit immediately, and I was using it. I've been using it for some time. Basically it was a fancy spell checker and grammar checker. So now, it's evolved to put AI and plagiarism checking and all that stuff in there, right? But it's been around for a very, very long time, well before the advent of AI. Now, let's keep this in mind. 2009, it was developed in Ukraine and launched in 2009. Let's keep these dates in mind. 2009, Grammarly, 2020 for AI, 2022 for common use. Now, all right, let me close that. Let me stop share. Now that these points have been made, let's go back. All right, now I wanted to talk about something called Yoast SEO. Yoast SEO is something that I started using when I started working for marketing firms and stuff. There's certain tools that you use when you're writing SEO. And Yoast, I don't know how you pronounce that, was something that was commonly used. Hold on, let me go back. To it. That's that. Because again, I want to make sure I have to keep doing this because I've made whole recordings and realized I wasn't sharing shit. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm sharing the right thing. All right. This talks about what Yoast, I'm saying Yoast, is. So Yoast is a popular search engine optimization plugin primarily used on WordPress to help website owners improve their rankings in search engines like Google. But the problem is that's one tool. When you write SEO and do any kind of marketing, you have to have a bunch of different tools besides just this. But it was very good for creating, phrasing. And it usually, the biggest thing it did was show you how to use transitional phrases like furthermore, consequently, and it would give you an idea of how to use these and situate them in words because search engines, you look for these particular words, and the more often you use transitional phrasing and stuff, the higher ranking your particular articles and blogs will go. So Yoast was just one of a lot of different tools. So again, this is leading me to what I'm about to tell you guys. Okay, so look at that, and you look at the common uses of transitional phrases and things like that, right? So let me go back now. Again, put that in mind, and that's just one tool. Just one tool. Let's keep all of this in mind. Okay, so let me go back to. Just close that. All right, let me go to the other thing I was looking at here. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for. That's not what I'm looking for either. All right, so all this to say that when stop sharing. Okay. So all this to say that when AI is looking for things, what's this? Oh, here, that's what I was looking. Okay, bring this over here. It looks for common phrasings, uncommon word choices, and uncommon word choices. Like I said, I have a huge vocabulary. Sometimes I like to get fancy, but if I get too fancy, it's like, oh, this must be a written. It's like, okay, because it's a word not commonly used, right? So it'll assume that was written by a robot, right? Which makes me understand that maybe I should try not to write. Well, it depends on what I'm trying to do, right? But one of the things I'm learning in this age of AI, that getting too fancy with words is not a good thing. So that's causing me I have to use an AI checker to make sure that no one's going to assume my stuff was written by AI. All right, so let me go back here. Share. All right. So it talks about here on Grammarly, the most common AI words. AI-generated text often follows predictable patterns such as steady tone, repetitive phrasing, and structured transition. Certain phrases such as delve into, at its core, are common telltale signs. Using AI responsibly means including human oversight and workflows. Ever invited to delve into a topic, blah, 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 all this stuff right now. Remember, people were using these phrases before AI was even invented. So it's very plausible that somebody might say, I wanted to delve into this, and all of a sudden it's AI. What is AI generated content, blah, blah, blah. But I just wanted to point this out that even Grammarly is basically saying that what we're looking at is common or terms, right? The kind of terms that, let's say, Yoast might suggest somebody use in SEO writing. Okay. So, stop share. So I say all that, and I pulled up an email that I received in 2017. And I wanted to use something that people would, let me close this. People would understand was not written by me, but that I received in 2017. Actually, this was, I don't know why it says Michael here. Maybe this was something Michael forwarded to me, but I don't think it was. This was sent to me. Okay, let me share this. Share. Okay, there it is. All right, so it says 3 clever employees for dealing with dumb job interview questions. It's sit by the ladders. And the ladders, okay, this is what it says, Michael. Me and Michael were sharing a ladders account because it was something that I could use to find content writing jobs and stuff. And it was expensive, so we shared it. So this was sent to my inbox, forwarded to my inbox, right? Or was it forwarded? I don't know why it says Michael, but anyway, I'm trying to remember because it was 2017. Okay. So it says, good morning, Michael, the 12 Habits CEO quiz, yada, yada, yada. Uses a lot of corporate speak, which is another thing that AI flags. So if you look here, I'll let you if you want to read some of it. But what I did is I copied and pasted into Grammarly to see if it was going to detect any AI speech. So what do you think happened? All right. But again, Monday, May 22nd, 2017, 6:02 a.m. This predates AI. All righty. So let me stop and go to share. Okay. Is this the right thing? I think this is the Grammarly. Yeah. All right. Now this is the Grammarly response. It notes 8 AI phrases and it wants me to correct them. It's 8, right? In this thing that was written in 2017. So it highlighted that promises. It highlighted let me. It highlighted let me twice. I match the conversation towards me tell you about thee. I match the conversation back to, right? So what it did, it says, and so what they do say is spot text that resembles AI writing. So it's not exactly saying you wrote this with AI. It's saying it resembles it. And I'd rather people said that more than to come at people. I recently had someone say to me, Alicia, or ask me, I've had a couple people ask me questions. Do you use AI in your writing? Well, I didn't, 10 years ago. But what I do is I do check my writing. And again, you also got to realize that because I trained myself in SEO writing, there's a good chance a lot of my stuff will sound AI because I use a lot of transition phrasing and things like that. It trained to write that way. I got to untrain myself for right now, especially formally or when I'm writing cover letters and resumes and things like that. But I digress. I'm using this as an example to show people, and I wanted to use something that people couldn't say that, you change and stuff like that. That's why I went so far back in time. So I wanted to show the fact that people can write something that resembles AI without having used AI to write it. And what I don't like in this era of witch hunts when it comes to the use of AI, including the way I use it, which is I use it in post-production, and I don't use it commercial with commercial stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that I won't use generation as a meme, but the reason why I do that is that all memes are copyrighted material. And people were sharing memes since the internet existed. So if somebody's going to ping me for using AI for a meme, they can kiss my ass, right? But when it comes to my own work, my own commercial work that I want to make money with, I use AI as a tool for stylization, not generation, which is different. Okay. So anyhow, that would clear that up. And I'm not litigating AI in the comments or anything like that. So anybody wants to say anything about that, go argue outside or argue with your friend. Thanks for playing. So anyway,
Motion detected at Michael's front door.
Yeah, it's just what I see as people who, with the pitchforks out, who are ignorant as to how AI is trained, trying to come after people. And it reminds me of the Crucible, how people try to use things to take things from other people. Because you got messy people in the world who don't like somebody, so they're going to try to do something to undermine the person. My hair is real. Well, guess what? Some people like to wear wigs for a lot of reasons. I'm going to make a confession and say I have to wear wigs for a lot of reasons myself. I have an autoimmune disorder, and during the beginning of it, I lost a lot of my hair. So I went and I got I got tattooed eyelashes and stuff because a lot of it didn't grow back. It fell off my arms. Because in the beginning I had to use methotrexate, and methotrexate made me lose a lot of my hair, and a lot of hair didn't grow back. I'm just now using vitamins and stuff to grow my lashes and things. So my thing is, don't judge what people do and why they do it. You don't know why they do it. Some people might be like, well, I want, shut up. I don't care what you want. I don't care what people want. Honestly. Not this day and time. I care about people I care about. And I would say that when you're in relationships, yes, you have to, it's give and take and compromise. But when it comes to the common everyday man in the common world, if I'm wearing a wig, fuck you if you have a problem with it. If I like itty bitty skirts, fuck you if you got a problem with it. If I use AI, double fuck you. Because I'm loving the fact that now I have a tool in place that made my job easier. Because it was like I was walking around, like this artist could go, well, I don't need that as a tool. Well, bully for you. Okay. For years, I was looking for a tool that would help me speed up a particular process because it was tedious. And it got to the point where I didn't even want to do it anymore because it took too much time for me to do this particular thing, which is what I use AI as a tool to do now, which is an automated type of thing, right? So the thing that aggravates me is how just because somebody doesn't need, if you work in a plant, there's automated factory processes. Just because you don't need, I don't know, a bread stuffer doesn't mean that the dude in the plant doesn't need the bread stuffer. His job is different. And certain creative jobs are different. So if you don't need a bread stuffer as a artist, great. I need a bread stuffer. Anyhow. And that's enough of that. But I'm just doing this to show you how something could be labeled as AI, or as it says here, spot text that resembles AI. And it may not have been written by AI. So, yeah, as I'm going to say, that somebody said, hey, that something you wrote here seemed AI. And that's because I wanted to write a person talking about a dream sequence, and I wanted to be very esoteric. And yeah, it came off as a little stuffy, I guess. I guess that's the best way of saying it. Sometimes I write in a very stuffy way. And that comes from a lot of my influences being transcendentalists like Henry David Thoreau, Ralph Waldo Emerson. And by today's standards, yes, their writing would be very stiff and esoteric. And so I have found myself having to scale myself back, and even more so in a modern era with AI. But this to say, quit, my biggest pet peeve is people making accusations without having a bit of fact. This is why I don't like rumor mongering. I don't enjoy it. I don't engage in it. I find people who do that to be petty and small-minded and low IQ, a lot of them. I'm not saying it's true of all people who enjoy gossip, but I would say low IQ individuals love spreading rumors about people, and low IQ individuals believe rumors about people. And yes, that's directed at someone in particular. And if it hurt your little fifis, I give 2 fucks. Anywho, that's all I want to say about all that. And yeah. If someone has a question, they want to question me about something, they can ask me directly. I will answer the question. And depending on the nature of the question, I'll answer nicely or not. But I will answer it. So it depends. And don't tell policeman if you come to me, you ask me if I'm a hooker. Don't ask me to be nice about the question. Okay? That's another thing I'm detesting in the modern age. People will expect you to be nice about your anger, nice about your righteous indignation. I'm not going to be nice if you come at me a certain way. Don't ask me to accommodate your nastiness, because I won't. If you come up to me and you say, hey, Alicia, are you a hooker? I'm going to say, fuck no, I'm not a hooker. What the fuck is wrong with you? I'm not going to be like, no, thanks for asking. Yeah. Anyhow, that's all I got to say about that. I guess the main takeaway is this: in the age of AI and things like that, We can ask questions. And yes, a lot of people use AI to write. And yes, some people use AI to write a lot of their stuff. But don't go accusing people before you have facts, right? And that's all I can say about that. Anyway, an M dash does not automatically mean the stuff is written in AI. Certain transitional phrasing doesn't mean that. Yeah, so at the end of the day, love you guys, and I will talk soon. Be nice out there. Treat people with respect. Love you. Okay. I'm always okay. Where's the? Oh, there it is.